Good evening. I'd like to welcome you to our first Aspirations in Computing virtual award ceremony and to thank you all for coming. My name is Shira Brochat and I'm the coordinator for the NCWIT Aspirations in Computing Eastern Washington affiliate. And as you can see from our agenda, we have a full program. So let's get started. First, I'd like to recognize our non-awardee guests and to thank them for taking time from their busy schedules to join us this evening. We have with us Professor Anamika Dubé, who is a faculty member in the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science at WSU. We have Professor Anamika, Professor Venera Arnaudova, who is also a faculty member in the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science at Washington State University. There's Professor Shakira Arslan-I, who is a faculty member in the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science at Washington State University. Erin Mullen is Zapier's first technical project manager and our keynote speaker. Ray Marks is a graduate in computer science from WSU. Ray is working now as a software development engineer at Microsoft. Kelsey Nash is also a graduate in computer science from WSU, and Kelsey is working as a software engineer at Disney. Zoe Parker is studying computer science at WSU. Zoe has done a fantastic job as an undergraduate teaching assistant in our introductory programming course. Pooja Senapati is also studying computer science at WSU. Pooja is the founder of our College Loops Club at WSU. College Loops is sponsored by the nonprofit Girls Who Code. Jess Dahman earned both bachelor's and PhD degrees in computer science at WSU, and she is now an instructor of computer science at the May School and a member of the AIC committee. Jess co-authored a Python textbook with Professor John Schneider and me. Rebecca Long is the president and founder of Future Ada and a member of the AIC committee. And I'll have more to say about Rebecca in just a minute. Gina Sprint earned her PhD degree in computer science at WSU and is now a faculty member in computer science at Gonzaga University. Gina is also a member of the AIC committee, and computer science education is one of her many research interests. And last but not least, I'd like to introduce Kathy Zettel-Schaefer, who is my fabulous regional affiliate manager, or RAM for short. She's with us this evening representing the National Center for Women and Information Technology, and I've said it before, NCWIT for short, and she'll explain a bit about what NCWIT and the Aspirations program are all about. Kathy?
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Shira. I first want to give a huge shout out to my entire team at Washington State University, and Shira specifically. They have done such an amazing job over the years to award our Aspirations in Computing awardees, and this is their very first virtual event. You know, we pivoted so much in so many ways this last year and a half, and I'm just so proud of Shira, you and the team for pulling this together. So hats off to you. Nice work. NCWIT, we recognize the awardees tonight and the Educator Award winner, and we're just so proud of you. I want to give you a special shout out and a congratulations from everyone at the national office, which is headquartered at the University of Colorado in Boulder. We're so very, very proud of your accomplishments. You will now join 10,000 other women in our Facebook community, women who are just like you. They started out in high school, they've gone to college, they've now gone all the way up to a doctorate level, maybe they're in industry, but you're going to connect with these women online, and those women will share with you their experiences as you continue on your journey that you're just getting ready to start. NC WIT supports you in that journey. We are here to answer questions. We are here to cheer you on, and we are here to advise you however we can. Today I have a fourth grader. I've got a couple kids in college, but I have a fourth grader, and he said, "Mom, were you alive when the internet was first started?" And I'm like, "I was alive way before computers were even invented." And so he's like, "Wow, you're really old, Mom." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I was able to see the growth of the technology, and we're putting that hope and those dreams and that aspiration in you all as you continue on your journey. This is just a start for you. Imagine where you're going to be when you're asked, were you alive when?" And you're going to say, "I was alive, but I also developed something that we're using now." And we're just so excited to see what that's going to hold for your future. So you've gotten a swag bag in the mail from us, hopefully already. If you haven't, let me know, with some prizes for you to celebrate with. And Cher's going to talk about your trophy that's going to be coming in the mail soon. But make sure you answer that call to join our Facebook community, so that you can get connected in all the things that are available for you from here. So I'm going to put it back over to Shara, and congratulations once again. And let's get to celebrating you all.
Thank you, Kathy. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, who is also a WSU graduate in computer science. Erin Mullen is a technical project manager at Zapier in Austin, Texas. In fact, Erin is Zapier's first technical project manager. And as such, she has taken pride in establishing her role at the company and in making team processes fun. When not working, Erin can be found checking out every local coffee shop in her dream city of Austin and learning how to say y'all, hanging out with her cats, or doing projects around her new house. As her academic mentor when she was at WSU, I knew Erin would be successful, in part because of her positive outlook and effervescent personality, which I'm sure you'll observe as she presents her keynote speech, Forging Your Own Path in Tech. Erin, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cher. That was great. Let me go ahead and share my screen for y'all. Like Cher said, I am y'all. It's my new favorite word here in Austin. So a little bit more about me. You've already heard a lot about me. So I previously worked at Hulu before I started at Zapier. Right out of graduating from WSU, I moved to Los Angeles, started at Hulu as an associate program manager. Found out that LA really wasn't for me. Moved to Texas. Sorry, Mom. Zapier is a completely remote company. Even before COVID, there is no Zapier office anywhere. So packed my bags, moved to Austin. And other most important thing you should know about me, I am the proud owner of 3 beautiful cats, Bo, Peep, Peanut, and Snickerdoodle. If you would like to see a photo of them, please message me. And I'm just kidding. Of course, you're going to see a photo of them right here. You do not need to message me at all. If one of them appears, I am so sorry. They're all really tired right now, but they might show up. So one of the things that might have stood out to you here is I'm not a software engineer. And if you're anything like me, when I was a computer science student, I thought that my path forward in tech would lead to me being a software engineer. And that really wasn't the case. And that's kind of what I'm here to talk to you about today, is finding your own place and your own path forward in tech from somebody like me who I never really felt comfortable coding. And my realization in this actually started with a balloon and a job. So back up to when I was a student at WSU, I started an amazing job at the student newspaper, the Daily Evergreen. And I was hired as a web and mobile developer. So it's kind of the closest I got to being a software engineer. And my first semester there, before I even started, they encouraged me to go with them on the Cougar Leadership Retreat, which I'm not sure if they're still doing this, but before the fall semester, the weekend before, they invite a bunch of students to go. I think anybody's invited, but especially leaders are invited to go on a little retreat in Idaho. And it's just a leadership retreat where you bond with your coworkers and make new friends. And one of the ice-breaking activities that they did was they passed balloons out to everybody, gave everybody a Sharpie marker, and you write down icebreaker questions on these balloons. So we all write down our icebreaker questions. We bop the balloons around until the music stops. We're playing music, and then you grab the nearest balloon, you turn to the nearest person, and you each answer each other's questions. But somebody with the world's largest Sharpie marker wrote on one balloon in giant block letters, "What is your purpose?" So we'd be bopping around these balloons, the music would stop, you'd grab a balloon, and I would be like, "Oh, hey, what's your favorite dinosaur?" And somebody'd be like, "Oh, yeah, okay, what's your purpose?" And it sounds really funny, but that's one of those questions that people ask kind of as a joke. And it was a joke. Like, somebody wrote this down as a funny joke, but honestly, that balloon stuck in my head because for the first time in my life, I was doing a job related to my degree, and I was working at a newspaper. And it didn't quite fit in with this narrative that I had for myself, that I was going to stay in tech, I was going to be a software engineer, I was going to graduate, move on to a tech company, I was going to code, and I was holding a little secret. And that little secret was I loved tech, but I just didn't find myself enjoying coding. So what I realized was I wasn't recognizing my own personal values. And I wasn't recognizing that tech is such a large field. So a little bit more of my background. From the Daily Evergreen as a web and mobile developer, I actually ended up getting promoted and was promoted into the web and mobile manager. And as the web and mobile manager, I had a team of web developers, videographers that I worked for. I hired them, I trained them, I loved what I did. I made roadmaps, I developed products, I worked with editors at the Evergreen to help them kind of bring the newspaper into the 21st century. And I loved what I was doing. And I was kind of having this inner freak out because I was thinking, oh my God, I'm not being a software engineer, but I love what I'm doing. Am I destined on the wrong track? So fast forward towards the summer of 2015. And I was working at the papers, the managers, loving what I was doing, but I was kind of freaking out about my degree. And I had an interview with Expedia for a software engineering internship. And if y'all aren't aware, software engineering interviews always have some sort of coding exercise. And at the time, it was on a whiteboard. And so the interviewer asked me to do a coding exercise at the whiteboard. And I go up to the whiteboard and I'm like freaking out because I couldn't do it. So I tried, I couldn't do it. I sat down with the interviewer and I said, listen, I can explain my thought process to you. I can tell you how I would go about solving it, but I just can't do it at the whiteboard. And the interviewer said, that's all right. Let's just chat it out. So she started asking me about my background and my history at the Daily Evergreen. So I was telling her about my role, how much I loved my job, how much I loved working with people who were passionate about tech, and how much I loved working with people who maybe didn't know a lot about tech, but were so interested in learning more and bringing things into the 21st century. And she said, you know, I think you'd be a really great technical program manager. And if y'all are anything like I was then, I went, oh my gosh, what is that? That sounds amazing. What's a technical program manager? And she said, well, let's pivot the interview. I will interview as a technical program manager intern instead of a software engineering intern. And I thought, well, I've got a computer science degree. And she said, no worries, that's what you need. And that's when I learned that there are more paths in tech than just software engineering. And it opened up a whole world for me. I ended up getting the internship at Expedia as a technical program manager intern, which in turn led to an internship at Hulu, which led to my full-time job there as a TPM. So I love tech, but I have never been a software engineering intern. One of the things I wish somebody had helped me walk through as a student is my values and my missions. So I actually have a little exercise for y'all today. If you could pull out a pen and paper or even just your phone or a Word document, we're going to do a very, very short values exercise. And I'm not just talking to the high school students here. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter if you're retired at the age of 83. I want you to do this exercise too, because it's good for everybody, even if you're not in tech. So grab whatever utensil you're writing with or your phone if you're typing it down. And I'm going to show you a slide after this, and it's going to just be a big wall of words. What I want you to do is just read through these words. If one stands out to you, or if you go, yes, I really like that, write it down. Doesn't matter if you write down 3 words, 6 words, 100 words, every word, just start writing them down. We're only going to do this for a minute or 2 minutes. So go ahead, take whatever you're using to write through, or even if you don't have anything to write with, just read through it. Remember a few words that stand out to you. Okay, so I know that was really fast. This is usually actually a 45-minute session that I walk through with my coworkers. This is an actually mission and values exercise that I do with people at Zapier. But what we're doing right now is identifying personal values. And this is extremely helpful to help you understand what drives you and what your personal mission is. Now you're probably wondering, like, why is this important? I'm in high school, or why is this important? I already have my dream job. This is important because this gets to the core of what motivates you. This gets to the core of what's going to drive you forward in times when maybe you're not feeling very motivated, in times when you're feeling a little lost. I like to give a really simple example of when this might help out. So I'm going to show you a slide of what my personal mission is, which I actually included in my bio. It's basically the short version is I like making processes fun. But overall, I love helping people reach their full potential by creating an inviting workplace and making processes fun. So how I like to boil this down is, like, for example, let's say you're having a hard time getting motivated to clean your room. And one of my values is order. And if I'm having a hard time cleaning my room and I'm like, gosh, I should really like this because I enjoy the outcome of order, but I also enjoy having fun. So maybe if I embrace a little more fun and I put on some music, then I'll get to that order that I really enjoy. That helps motivate me. So backing this up into back when I was a computer science student and I was struggling to really identify with being what I thought was the only outcome, being a software engineer. And I thought, man, I don't want to be a software engineer. How am I going to find my way in tech? I found my way in tech by finding that person that recognized that who I was as a person, my values and my mission better aligned with being a technical program manager instead of a software engineer. And that helped me get into tech, find my own path forward, join a company where I was the only technical program manager, and open up this role to many other people. Now at Zapier, I joined in October of 2019. I was the only technical project manager. Now there are 6 of us, and I'm so happy to say that I was the first one, and it was my second job out of college. And part of what helped me reach there was recognizing my own values, my own mission, and helping rally people around that. So what I want you to do, I'm going to give you some homework, everybody, is to further hone your core values. You can just Google list of values and it'll pop up a bunch of words. I want you to take some time to really start to look at your list, the one that you started today, to further add to it, maybe take away from it, maybe write down some notes around like, why did this stand out to me? Identify your personal mission, which is a whole nother story, but this is going to be part of your elevator pitch. It's going to be something you can put on your LinkedIn profile, something you can put on college applications, job applications. It's going to be that motivator. But this is where you can understand how and where you can use your technical skills to fulfill yourself and others. Because you're already here because you are successful in tech. You're already here because you've started to find your path. But in 2021, every company is a tech company. Every company is open to you and can use your help. But having that personal mission will help you identify where your path is in tech to help you drive forward. So I really want to say thank you today. This is something that I'm extremely passionate about, finding your way forward, identifying what we're all good at, identifying what really makes us tick. Here are different ways you can contact me if you have questions about values, missions. If you'd like to know more about this exercise, like I said, this is a big exercise I usually do with professionals at Zapier. You can reach out to me in email. Don't forget the H. It's erinhmullen@gmail.com. Got my LinkedIn there. And even if you just want to talk about cats, always there on Instagram as well. So thank you all so much. It's so great to be here with y'all, and y'all are already accomplishing so much. So thank you.
Okay. Okay, I assume that we actually, did you hear the clapping? I didn't hear it. But anyway, Erin, thank you so much. That was, I mean, I actually was writing down words and I didn't quite get to the end, but now I want to know, what should I do now that I have those words? So I'll be in touch with you. Okay, next we have another treat for all of us. This year, we're pleased to present our first panel, and this panel will be of current and former WSU computer science students. It will be moderated by Rebecca Long, and Rebecca is also a computer scientist, but she's the president on the side as an avocation. She's a president and founder of a nonprofit called Future Ada, which is in Spokane. And Future Ada believes in empowering women, non-binary individuals, and other underrepresented groups within STEAM. So they add an A to it. So it's science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. For those of you who don't know, Future Ada is named after Ada Lovelace, the famous, or is it Lovelace? Anyway, the famous mathematician and first computer programmer. Rebecca, I'll turn the mic over to you.
Hi, yeah, thank you. I want to say thank you for having this panel here today and having me be the moderator. I'm very excited about it, and I loved our keynote, Erin. That was amazing. I'm also a huge fan of values and mission statements and whatnot, and I took a few notes, and I also have some homework to do on that front. Also a big fan of cats. I also have a couple running around that might jump into the frame, so I will be contacting you about cats as well after this. So yeah, so I'd like to introduce our lovely panelists, if we can get them to jump on camera here. Awesome. Okay. There we go. Okay, we've got a couple. Okay, so there we go. We need a couple more. Let's see. There we go. All right, so we have 4 lovely panelists here. And one of the things I would like to do is have each of you introduce yourselves. I think it's a good experience to introduce yourself, and it's good practice. And I think you're going to introduce yourself better than anyone else can give you credit for things. And so, yeah, so I'm going to hand it over. I will call on you and then have you just give a little introduction, who you are, what your background is, and any interesting trivia facts that you are interested in sharing with folks. And then we'll jump into some questions. Okay, so let's start at the top from my screen. Kelsey, how about you go first?
Sure. Hi, my name is Kelsey Nash. I am a software engineer at Disney in the media and distribution group. Up until COVID hit, I was working out of the ESPN office in Connecticut, Bristol, Connecticut, but right now I'm back in Washington. It's been really nice to kind of get to still do my job, but also be surrounded by my family and friends. Let's see, a little about myself. I kind of took a weird path to computer science. I originally got a degree in virtual technology and design. So it's like similar. It was like 3D animation, 3D modeling, and I realized I needed to know how to code to go very much further in that field too. And so I came back to WSU and got my degree. So that's where I am now.
Awesome. Great to have you. Okay, Zoe, how about you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Zoe. I am going to be a junior at Washington State University, and I'm majoring in computer science. I actually started at Washington State as a mathematics major, but I actually took a class with Shira, a Python class, and I fell in love with it. So now I'm in computer science and I'm loving it.
Awesome. I also transferred, so I'm an Eastern grad, and I transferred in as a math major, and then I got pulled over. I get it. So yeah. All right. Pooja, how about you?
Hi, my name is Pooja Sinapati. I'm going to become a senior at WSU. I'm also majoring in computer science. I'm from Sammamish, Washington, and I guess a fun fact about myself is I love to binge watch shows and to learn new cooking recipes.
Awesome. And then Ray, you're next.
Hey, so I'm Ray. I'm a software development engineer at Microsoft. I currently write anti-malware software for Linux and Mac, so I don't use Windows at Microsoft. I've been a software engineer for 5 years. I was previously at Dell. I've been 2 years at Microsoft. And I graduated from Washington State University in 2015. I was also a math major who transferred into computer science after one class with Andy. And fun fact about myself is I have a twin brother, and we grew up in Spokane, Washington.
Awesome. Great to have all of you. I think we got a nice array of backgrounds. So kind of piggybacking off of our keynote, I wanted to throw it out there to see if anyone has an answer to the question of what's your purpose? I thought we'd start with that. Totally optional. Ray?
My purpose is to be happy. So maybe that's selfish, but that's, we're on this planet for a short amount of time. So I do my job because I enjoy it well enough. It gives me the financial security that I need to do all of my hobbies. I'm definitely a work to live kind of person. And I also get a lot of fulfillment writing anti-malware software because you can't tell me that that's bad for the world. So yeah, just things that make me feel fulfilled and lets me be happy in other areas of my life too.
I love it. Yeah. Anyone else?
I can go.
Kelsey?
I think that my purpose is to tell stories. I grew up, doing theater, and then when I got into computer science, I realized I could still kind of use that, even though I wasn't directly like, designing the story or anything like that. I still have a part in telling that story. At Disney, I also used to work at SEL, Software Engineering Labs, and all that's kind of like Ray said with its power systems. So it's like, you can't say that that's bad too, working on that. But yeah, I like to tell stories, and I think that that's something that's not thought about a lot with computer science. It seems so technical, but no, you get to be very creative.
Yeah, totally agree. Love it. Anyone else?
I can go.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I actually have two keywords, passion and ambition. Passion, just because like how I got into interest in computer science, like it was definitely because like when I started doing outreach in high school and like helping middle school kids and elementary school kids, like teaching some tech classes and then feeling fulfillment from that, that kind of like inspired me. Like that was kind of like the start of my passion for computer science. And it also led me become ambitious, and I was able to actually found the Girls Who Code Club College Loops at WSU. And I think that's always remembering my passion would definitely get me further into my career and be ambitious for what I would like to be.
Yeah. Awesome. Love that.
I'll say something too.
Sure.
I think my purpose, I mean, I don't really know my purpose yet, but I would hope that it would be to be creative. When I was little, I wanted to be like a fashion designer and like a painter and an artist and all sorts of things. And now I've ended up in computer science, but I think it can still be just as creative as those things. I maybe want to go into design or something. But yeah, I think creativity is really important.
Yeah, definitely. And computer science is extremely creative in any role that you take from my experience. And also, as our keynote Erin mentioned, every industry, any company, it's all tech companies now. Every company is a tech company, so you could totally blend any of your other interests in with computer science and just enhance whatever it is that you're doing. So I love that. Awesome. Okay, so I want to often when we have panels with women in computer science, women in tech, we end up getting a little bit pigeonholed on what questions we get. I don't know if anyone's noticed that, but that seems to be a common trend. So I'm only going to ask one stereotypical question, and then I want to get into like more interesting, exciting things that really bring us into tech. So I'm just going to get it out of the way. So how do you personally combat any biases in tech that you've experienced? We'll open it up to the floor.
I haven't really experienced any.
That's amazing.
I've been very fortunate.
Love that.
Some of it might be, I try to come off as having an air of confidence, even if I don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's not quite a fake it till you make it, but act like how you want to be, which is confident. And I'm wondering, maybe it just affects how people interact with me. I don't know, but I've been very fortunate. Although I have experienced harassment, but that's a little different.
Anyone else? Kelsey?
Bouncing off that, I've been fairly lucky too that I haven't experienced too much or really any. I would say, like, I remember one time when I was working at SEL that I walked into this meeting, and it was supposed to be for like a greater software engineering group, and I was the only woman in the room other than the project manager. And so that was, I guess, a moment for me where I was like, oh, like, I guess that was like the first moment for me where I realized, like, wow, like, I didn't realize I was so underrepresented here, but I'm glad I'm here. And it kind of like motivated me to be like, okay, yeah, no, I need to like help get others involved. So I guess it kind of like every experience I've had has motivated me to want to get more women included.
Awesome.
Yeah, actually, going off of what Ray said, I've also been very fortunate too to not experience any gender bias in the tech field, because WSU is just such a welcoming community and everything. But if I know some of my classmates that have gone through an experience, and they would express their discomfort to me, and the only advice I would give is quite similar to Ray. Be yourself. Carry yourself the way how you would want to present yourself to others. don't let their words bring them down, because your actions will show much more than their words. So I think just being confident in your skills and like learning is the best way to like prove and like put your stance in the field.
Yeah, great advice.
Once again, I've been very fortunate to not experience much bias, especially just being in at WSU, it's very diverse. But like Kelsey, I have been in some classes that have been very male dominated. And I guess my advice is just to sit at the front, raise your hand, like make them aware that you're there and that you're confident and you're a part of that group too.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. This is wonderful to hear. What this tells me is that the world is getting better. So that's awesome. Great to hear.
Other people mentioned how male dominated it is. So it's definitely worth saying too, like I've been the only woman in a 30-person meeting before. So you can definitely be respected even when you're the only woman in the room or when you're one of multiple. So yeah, be at the front. It's awesome.
Awesome. Yes. Excellent. This is just giving me so much hope. So, okay. So now we've gotten that question out of the way. Okay. So I want to know what got each of you interested in pursuing computing as a career. What was that spark? What keeps you in it? What is it that drives you to be in this field?
I'd like to go.
Okay, Zoe.
So as I said, I started as a math major at Wazoo, and I had to take a Python course as a requirement for my major. And I remember it was probably like the first lab we were doing, and we were, I was coding for the first time, and I felt like I just picked it up really easily. And in my math major, I felt like I like math, but I don't really know what to do with it. I feel like I don't have an application for it. And being able to code, it felt like there's so many different applications. I could do so much with it. And it also kind of stimulated the mathematical side of me, I guess. So it was definitely doing Python that I fell in love with it for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Pooja, are you gonna go?
Yeah, I think I've kind of mentioned it before, but definitely it was when I first did my first outreach program in high school, and I was actually teaching like a Scratch program for some middle school students, and they were as middle schoolers, they were typically uninterested at first, and once we started getting to program a game, they were actually really surprised and they were really passionate, and they actually created so many, like a really in-depth game. And when there was like a showcase day to show like to their families, it was amazing. Like the reactions, their passion for it. And then one of them actually came up to me and was like, I would like to go to your high school because I would like to learn computer science. I went to Tesla STEM High School, so it was a very STEM oriented high school focused on obviously STEM subjects. So it was from then when that one student came up to me and was like, I want to go to your school and learn computer science.
That's awesome. It's amazing. So inspiring. Kelsey or Ray?
Sure. Yeah. Extremely similar story as Zoe, where I was a math major because it was the homework that I disliked the least. But I did love math. And I was struggling so hard between picking a math track. I just couldn't figure it out. And then I had to take a programming class in C as a requirement and liked it and found that, okay, there's a much clearer path. I'm enjoying it. I'm still solving puzzles. This is how my brain works. I'm liking it. And it just feels like it's a lot more right. So I went that path and never looked back.
Nice.
Mine's not quite as exciting, I guess. Video games for me are what really made me want to get into tech. I played with my friends and family growing up, and I always thought that they were so cool. And when I realized I could have a career maybe making one, or like being around kind of that entertainment sphere, like I said before, telling stories, and also do something with tech. I always loved computers, so I was like, that's really cool. Like that's what made me passionate about it.
Great. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That spark, yeah. Okay, so next question for y'all. So computer science is sometimes not the easiest subject. So I am curious what, I'm sure all of you've encountered challenges along your path. You've gotten to that homework assignment where you're just like, I just cannot get this algorithm to work. Or, if you've I took assembly class and it's just like, there's always something. What is a challenge that you have faced, either in school or, for those of you in industry, once you've gotten into industry, what's a challenge you faced and how did you overcome it?
As a student, I'm currently an undergraduate at WSU. And so as a student, we do a lot of project assignments, and those typically are quite big assignments and they're tough, and you complete it within a week and a half or so. And usually in high school, you have a lot more time than that. Well, whenever I come to I've had my coding for hours and I'm just not getting somewhere and I reach a blockage, I usually have to take a step back and take a break, not think about coding at all, just for a couple minutes, refresh, and then take a look at the code again with a fresh mind, with a fresh start and different view of it, and think differently. Why is this happening? And I ask myself constant questions. And if I can't answer those questions, I always go to TA office hours. Or tutors or the professors. Definitely reaching out to those definitely helped me get through my classes.
Great advice.
Mine is very similar to Pooja's. It's definitely the biggest problems are with the programming assignments. But my brother is a computer engineer, and something that he told me is generally what he calls it when you get stuck on something is getting lost in the sauce, is when there's just so much going on, you don't really know where the problem is. And so his advice to me was always to, again, take a step back and not think about it for a little bit and come back and really just look at it step by step, make sure that every part is working, test it out. And yeah, if none of that works, go see a TA or a teacher. But yeah.
Okay. So I'd say fortunate enough to say that I've worked on extremely challenging things my entire career so far. So every day I'm learning something new about security and different components that we're interacting with to, do the whole end-to-end malware detection. And this is a huge, complicated, well-baked system where they've started this 20 years ago, and it's hard to learn the whole thing. So I'll do my due diligence, look for examples in the code, pay attention to meetings and such, but my job is really highly collaborative. So at the end of the day, if I'm stuck, you just reach out to another engineer. And I'm really happy that Microsoft has a culture where that kind of thing is really encouraged. We're actually, every 6 months, we check in with our manager on our performance. And one of the huge areas is how we've helped others. So when you feel stuck, that's the nice thing in industry. It's great. You grab somebody and you hash it out.
Yeah, totally. What about you, Kelsey?
Yeah, similar to Ray, I feel like almost every day, there's a new challenge. It's as soon as you feel like you're yes, I've got this, I'm familiar with this code base, I know exactly what I'm doing. And then someone will be like, hey, can you do this other part now that has nothing to do with anything you've been doing, but like, it's yours now, bye. And so then it's just this whole, like, you kind of panic a little at first. You're like, oh no, like, especially if you've got a tight timeline. Recently, I kind of had one. I had never written a J-meter test. And we suddenly needed to have one and run it for a performance test for one of our services at Disney that's going to be releasing soon. And I was like, I've never done this. And so I got to poke one of my colleagues to just be like, hey, I've gotten this far. Like, how's it looking? Like, do you have a suggestion for where to go next if I'm like a little lost? Just really relying on your coworkers, relying on your team, not being afraid to ask questions. All of those will help.
Yeah, one of the things I really like about all of your answers is that, in tech and in computing, it's often like when I was in school, I always pictured like the future career path of just being like a code monkey and you never talk to humans, right? Because you're on a computer all the time. And that's not how it is at all. Like, it's so collaborative. It's very creative. You have a lot of people interactions. You're working together. It's fantastic. So I really appreciate all of your answers on this. I know we're basically out of time, but I still want to see if there's any questions from the group, from our audience, to chime in or put it in the chat for our panelists. I think folks can unmute if you would like. Okay, well then, if you have a question, put it in the chat. I have one last question before I pass it back to Shira. What advice would you give to young women interested in going into computing, right? High school girls, someone who's already in college that is like questioning, do I want to go math? Do I want to go computer science? Right, what advice would you give?
There is a question in chat, but I wanted to say that for me, something that I wish somebody had told me was, well, okay, first of all, I hung out with a ton of guys who were really good at tech. And I thought, oh my God, I will never be hired when there are people like this, when the reality is industry needs more engineers. So there is room for you. You're not going to have a problem at all. With 3 years into my career, I was working at Microsoft and I started coding sophomore year of college. So that's the biggest thing, is don't compare yourself to others. There are going to be people who are better. They're going to be people, I mean, that's not even, we're not better than each other, but you know what I mean, right? So yeah, just don't worry about that. You'll make it.
Jumping off that, the industry also needs like the different like viewpoints. I find myself coming from more of a design side of things because of my previous degree, to where even in school, I was a person that was thinking more about that than some of my classmates. And so that really helped because, oh, okay, Kelsey's kind of coming at it at this angle, whereas I can come at it at this angle. Like, I mean, really, the more people, the merrier, but then the more different viewpoints and the more different backgrounds we get, the merrier as well.
Totally agree.
Yeah, just to quickly go off of that real quick, one thing that I learned definitely during my time at WSU is that not everything is a linear growth. Like, everybody has their own path, and you shouldn't worry about other people's timeline on how they're doing things. Like, you should focus, the time at your university should be spent more on yourself and what you would like to do for the future. So my recommendation is, if you're interested in computing, go ahead and take that introduction to computer science class. And if that is something that you have really enjoyed, or reach out to a couple of computer science professors. We have a couple here already, on a couple here that you can ask questions to, but like, reach out to other people and see how it's like, if that's the right field for you, go for it. If not, go ahead and explore something else in your interest.
Yeah, I'm just going to piggyback off of that really quick. Yeah, my advice is just to keep trying new things. I think if I had never started coding, I would have never been in this major. So it's important to just try it, even if you're not sure if you'll like it. Just try new things for sure.
Yeah, great advice. Love it. So the one question we have in the chat from Hannah is, was it hard to choose the college you wanted to go to? Like you all went to Wazoo, but still like choosing a college is can be challenging. There's a lot of options out there. So what would you say?
I chose the school that gave me the most money to reduce my debt. No regrets. WSU was great.
Yeah, there's so many different reasons on why you can like what college you choose on. One of them is like Ray's. The other one is also because I looked at like because I was already interested in computer science, but I looked at each university's department of like and College of Engineering and Computer Science, and I just liked WSU's more, and so I selected it that way.
Yeah, similar to Ray, it was I'm gonna graduate from here with the least amount of debt. So, and it felt like once I got here, it felt like a great community, and I feel like I'm going to graduate set up very well with little to no debt. So that's very nice.
Yeah, for me, a lot of it was also where did I feel like I was going to have the most support, not only from the college, but also being close to my friends and family. So like I'm from Pullman. And so I focused on like Eastern Washington, West Coast, like somewhere close by that I could, if I needed to take that break, because mental break or I guess physical break too. I could go home and see my family and kind of recharge, reset, and then go back with a fresh mind.
Awesome. Thank you all. I know we went all over a little bit, but I want to thank you all for being a panelist and for sharing your stories, and telling us a little bit about yourself and giving some great advice for this group. I imagine that people can still put some questions in the chat, and if you keep an eye on it and maybe answer in there for everybody. But again, huge thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you so much to the panel. That was a real treat. As I said, this is the very first time we've had the panel, and I'm really glad that we had it. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. So now, and before I move on, I wanted to let you know that we're recording this on YouTube, and you can actually watch it again on YouTube and share it with anyone you want, okay? I'm not going to watch it. I hate to hear myself talk, but so we've now reached the point in our program that's the main reason for all of us gathering, and that is to honor the amazing high school students who could join us this evening, as well as an exceptional educator who has helped many of the students such as the ones we're actually honoring. You'll hear about their computing achievements and interests and how they want to make computing an important part of their future careers. They are a very impressive bunch. Okay, so first we're going to present awards to our National Honorable Mentions and Affiliate winners. These are the National Honorable Mentions are students who have been named out of 360 students. So they're one of 360 students in the whole country. Okay, so this is nationwide, and I think it also includes Canada and Puerto Rico and maybe Guam or something. Okay, and they're also affiliate winners, and they're going to actually receive 2 trophies. Meghna Dutta, Meghna Dutta has been interested in computing since the age of 5. Over the years, her interest has grown, leading her to serve on her high school's first robotics team, learn to code on her own, work as a software engineering intern even before she has gone to college, and worked 2 summers at WSU doing research developing machine learning models. And those are just a few of what things she's done. Meghna is still uncertain about what she wants to do in the future, but she knows it will involve computing and also aerospace engineering because she's very much interested in aeronautics. Okay. Our next, and before I go on, I want to ask Meghna for a fun fact.
Well, I guess outside of like computing and stuff, I really like to play the viola in my free time. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and our next award will be presented to Anna Gonzalez. Anna's interest in technology was sparked in the 4th grade when she attended a class for highly capable students, and she found computing to be both entertaining and challenging. She learned that technology doesn't just facilitate lives, but it also can help to save lives. This motivated her desire to continue to increase her knowledge and for computing to be a part of her future. In fact, Anna wants to work in the medical field, and her goal is to help hospitals and clinics through computing and technology. Okay, Anna, what's a fun fact about you?
She's unable to do audio right now. She's in the chat.
Okay, so Anna's in the chat and she says, a fun fact about me is that I didn't begin exploring STEM until my sophomore year of high school. Ah, that is a fun fact. Okay, then moving on. Next, we want to recognize more of our affiliate winners. Citlali Cruz joined another high school's robotics club because there wasn't one at her own high school. She had been studying Java in her AP computer science course, but the club was actually using C++ to code their robots. With Citlali's motivation and drive, she was soon programming the robots in C++. Citlali was inspired by the movies WALL-E and Hidden Figures, and her dream now is to work at NASA or SpaceX, where she wants to develop software programs and code robots for space exploration to advance our knowledge of the universe. Citlali, how about a fun fact for you?
Yeah, a fun fact is that I know how to play the violin and I've been playing since 1st grade.
Okay, so we have a couple of musicians here. Okay, next we have Chloe Winkler. Chloe took a computer science course just to try it out, and she ended up loving to program. In fact, she's now fluent in 5 coding languages, but she wants to learn even more. One of her latest projects involved programming a Raspberry Pi, which she used with a router in her house to block all ads from every network device in the house. So I'm going to need to have her do that for me too. Chloe plans to pursue a degree in computer science. And then, as with several of our other awardees, she wants to encourage more women to engage in STEM fields. Chloe, how about a fun fact from you?
So a fun fact about me is that my entire science classes are filled with women. And so the only man in our class is our teacher.
That is fun. Oh, that's a good flip. Okay. In our next category, we're going to virtually present trophies to our affiliate honorable mentions. Okay, so you can see the picture of the trophy. So we're giving those to you virtually. Ella Armstead's introduction to computing was through her public library's Girls Who Code Club. In a group of over 40 teens, Ella stood out, and she was invited to volunteer at the library to help others curious about STEM. When Ella started using Scratch, she thought making a logo bounce around and change color at her command was amazing. Since then, she has advanced her coding skills by attending coding camps and taking classes. Ella is excited to create things using code, of which she is proud, and she plans to pursue a career in computing. Okay, so we don't have Ella on video right now. Ella, do you want to show your video so I can ask you a fun fact? Ella, are you there? Okay, there you are. So, can you give us a fun fact? You need to unmute. Okay. Okay, a fun fact.
I'm trying to get myself published.
Published? Publishing what?
In fiction.
Cool. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I don't believe that Maz is here, and so our next, the next person, so Maz Brophy, Sheila Gonzalez is also not here. Kiriana Nardekia couldn't join us as well. And so now we'll move on to Hannah Punachab. Did I say that right, Hannah? Okay, Hannah Punachab didn't discover how fun and challenging computing was until her freshman year in high school when she took an AP course in computer science. Since that time, she has earned a Microsoft Technology Associate Certificate in Python, and she has earned or will soon earn a sister certificate in Java. She attributes much of her success to one of her teachers who has encouraged her interest in computer science. Her teacher, in turn, describes Hannah's commitment to her computer science courses as inspiring. Hannah, how about a fun fact?
A fun fact about me is that I really like to collect comic books.
Okay, cool. Okay, so thank you. And now we'll move on to the Rising Stars. Neither of our Rising Star awardees was able to make it today. So we'll move on. So now I guess we want to have a round of applause for all of our award winners. Okay, next we top off our celebration by presenting our Educator Award. The AIC Educator Award was established to recognize exemplary educators for their efforts to promote gender equity in computing. Juan Poire is just such a person. Juan is an educator at Quincy High School, which serves an 85% Hispanic population. In his capacity as an advisor, mentor, and coach, he has made an impact on the lives of many young women with his "Women Can" motto. He has encouraged them to pursue careers in STEM, and they have responded. One of his students is an award winner this evening, and last year one of his students was not only an Aspirations in Computing winner at the affiliate level, but also our very first winner at the national level. This student, she is now in college working on a degree in computer science and influencing others to follow her path. Juan, we are delighted to honor you tonight. Thank you for all you've done to advance women in computing.
Oh, wow. No, thank you so much. Just when you guys contacted me about winning, you can't believe I was through the roof. So thank you.
Okay. So what about a fun fact from you, Juan?
Oh wow. My biggest fun fact is that not only do I try to mentor women to definitely be the best that they can be in any field, but I am married to an engineer, and she's quite frankly the smartest woman I've ever had the privilege to be around, and so that's a shout out to my wife, and definitely want to shout out Nora Medina, Shayla Gonzalez, and also Satali Cruz. They're Gear Up students graduating. Shayla and Satali are graduating in class of 2021, which is going down as one of the roughest years in education history. So just a shout out to those ladies and all of the ladies here who have won or been mentioned today.
Okay, thank you so much, Juan. Okay, so next we're going to wrap up our award ceremony. I'd like to congratulate all our award winners, both those present and those unable to join us this evening. Oh, did I need to let you applaud first? Okay, so we need to applaud for Juan. Okay, I'd like to congratulate all our award winners, both those present and those unable to join us this evening. We all wish you the best in your future endeavors. And by the way, before I move on, we're showing an evaluation survey. It's also in the chat window, and this isn't just for the winners. This is actually for everyone who's here today. We'll also send it via email. Okay. Anyway, so let me continue. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. I'd also like to thank both of our guests on Zoom, and as well as family and friends viewing the celebration on YouTube. Thanks again to our wonderful panelists, to my favorite regional affiliate manager, Kathy Zell-Schaefer, and to members of the Eastern Washington Affiliate Committee. I would be remiss if I didn't thank all of our affiliate sponsors who provided lots and lots of swag that we'll be sending our awardees together with your trophies. Look for those later this summer. I must also thank the people behind the scenes. Thank you to Monica Jones for all her help with this event. It wouldn't have happened without her. Thank you to Tony Burt for his expert handling of the technical aspects of this event. Award winners, please stay until we've been able to get a Zoom group photo of all of you. Now, let's have another round of applause for our award winners, panelists, and keynote speaker. Thank you and good evening. Okay, so I guess everybody turn off your cameras if you're not an award winner. And thank you guys for coming. And now I guess, do you have everybody in gallery mode now? Okay, so we need, how do we do this, Tony? Because it looks like, I mean, are you only seeing the award winners? Because I'm seeing all of us.
No, I have it with 6 that are on screen.
Okay. Oh, only 6? I think there should be more.
Who are we missing?
Not everybody has their cameras on right now.
Anna? Oh, did Anna disappear?
It looks like it.
Okay. There should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
All right, and if everybody wants to get real nice and center, smile real big, because all of this is recorded, we can pull it from where everybody's smiling.
Hannah,
But
Hannah, you need to get up a little bit higher because you're kind of your face. We don't see your whole face.
All right, everybody smile big for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, amazing group of awardees.
Okay, thanks everybody. It was really fun. Good luck. Take care. Congratulations.
Way to go, Shira.
Well, it's done. I think it went okay. What do you think?
I think so. I had a couple slide mishaps.
Yeah, and